thank you everybody for being here today. And it has been a historically challenging year. And I, first of all, want to say thank you to everybody for the extraordinary effort, creativity, heart that you've demonstrated over the last 15 months. And we're here today because we know that we have some hard-won discoveries, some sweat equity in the learning from this past 15 months, 400 or so days. And we would like to not only share those with each other, but also with the larger college community. So I'd like to open it up and hear from you. What are the learning points from the past year, and what would you like to see us carry forward into the coming year?
When we heard that we were switching over, I was really concerned about my adult basic ed students because they're really vulnerable students. And I really wasn't sure what we were going to be able to do in a remote environment. And they stepped up, and it really has been amazing. I've met pets, I've met kids, I've had students doing all kinds of different things during class. I've had much better attendance. Students are missing fewer classes. They're sticking with us longer than a typical term. They tell me they don't have to worry about the bus schedule. They don't have to worry about whether they have money for gas. They don't have to worry about all of those barriers that they have in getting to and from campus. And then I've also had the students who've said, you know, I can open up so much more because I'm in a safe place. I'm at home. I feel comfortable.
And a lot of what you said, Michael, really resonates. You know, in making that move, we realized, number one, we're more agile than we thought. And we eliminated some barriers for folks. So for instance, instead of asking our students to come meet us when they wanted to initiate services with us, just to complete paperwork, we were able to do that remotely. So that eliminated the need for them to get childcare or transportation to come to us. And we offered our workshops virtually and activities that they could complete at times that were more convenient to them, maybe when their kids were asleep. And we were able to find creative ways to connect with them emotionally. And we really found like that emotional human support was critically important during this time. We also found ways to help address the digital divide. So through the PCC Foundation, we were able to get students access to laptops, but we realized that we also need to make sure we were teaching digital literacy so that folks knew how to use the laptops that we were getting and they could actually connect to us. And it really taught us that we need to be more proactive in how we're communicating with students and making sure that they know where to get access to all the supports they need from us and across the community, so they don't have to scramble in an emergency when they need help.
One of the things that has been very evident within the student affairs team, Pam and Michael both touched on it, is the fact that we became very agile, we became very receptive, very reactive, and really thought outside of the box in so many different ways that we never thought we could, let alone in such an effective manner. And we took this shift in delivery and method, and all of a sudden looked at it as another opportunity to reach the student and meet them where they're at. And I think that that's just an incredible lift that we can now take with us and move forward with, recognizing that we can, whatever we thought we couldn't do before, we know we can. And we need to apply that lens and continue that lens in whatever we do. I'm
thinking about how we have been flexible around a number of things like deadlines, right? We were able to adjust our drop deadlines for non-payment and our withdrawal deadlines. So I believe there's also been perhaps some financial aid deadlines that have been adjusted. That really supported our students. And I know of faculty who have remained very patient, just like Michael, and flexible with our students in terms of turning in assignments, right? In terms of attendance, all of these things, we have been able to give our students some grace and some flexibility to support them, right? So as we move forward in this next few months, in the next few years, I really like us to think back to this last 12 to 14 months, and I hope that we don't forget that we can continue to practice to some extent this level of flexibility and continue to support our students, right?
Thank you, Luis. So sustaining that sense of grace moving post-pandemic and supporting not only the practice, but even looking at policy at a systemic level to see how we encourage that or not, sometimes inadvertently. I really want to thank you, Luis, for pointing that out. I also want to thank everybody that extended grace to our students and to each other over the past year and a half. This has been a very challenging time, and I realize that given some of our policies, sometimes extending that grace means extra work. It means extra work for faculty. It means extra work for staff, for APs as well. And the fact that people are willing to do that speaks a lot to how dedicated folks are. And again, my gratitude to everybody for that. And you raise a really good point, Luis, for us to keep in mind as we move forward. Thank you for that.
In the course of this past year, we've been able to raise 1.1 million for our students in emergency grants. And so like Pam has touched upon, that funding went to laptops, internet essentials, support for bills. And just to bring a little context, in 2019, we only gave out 10,000 in emergency aid. And so our students have such a great need during this time. And we were also challenged as an organization to think creatively. How can we do our events? How can we meet everyone where they're at and still raise funds for our students? And so like our classes, we moved all of our events to online formats. We were really nervous because what type of community can you build in these Brady Bunch squares? And we were so impressed. So not only were we able to build community, more donors have been attending our events. We just had our virtual gala this year, and we partnered with a local TV affiliate, and we were able to have 26,000 people attend our virtual gala. And because it wasn't in a hotel, we didn't have to pay for an expensive meal and all these different things. And so that provided more equity to our events. We're able to eliminate barriers for our community. And so as we're going through not only a pandemic, but also the social justice movement, we're able in real time to provide equity to not only our students, but our whole community.
All right, who would like to go next?
This has been a remarkable year for the non-credit side of the college. Last spring, when the college transitioned to remote, a week before spring term started, community education couldn't make that pivot because they were so embedded in the community at over 100 off-campus locations with over 600 instructors, some of whom are contract, some of whom are employees. So every single community ed class for spring was canceled. And there was a big question, can community ed recover from that? Will students who have traditionally enjoyed taking community ed classes because they're available in their neighborhood, would they transition to online, to remote learning? And they have in big numbers, very strong numbers. The other thing about non-credit is it's really shown how it is the entrepreneurial side of the college over the last year. After the pandemic, there was a desperate need for contact tracers in Oregon. It was every county had a few of them, but not nearly enough to cover the number of COVID cases. And so the Institute for Health Professionals developed a COVID tracer training program to train individuals who then could apply for jobs to become contact tracers to fill an immediate and urgent need in the community. Only a community college could pull that off, and to be able to provide our community with the exact training that they need at that time.
And last but not least, we have Stacie.
And in communication studies, we study this tension between connection and autonomy. And I think that really describes this year of trying to find balance between maintaining connection and giving people autonomy to do their coursework, to do their job in the way that works for them, given all the things that were up in the air and constantly changing, from day to day. And so I think that really showed me the importance of humanizing the work that we do. And so I would have 5-minute meetings at the start of the quarter with every person one-on-one. And I literally would just tell people, I know right now is a difficult time and that online learning is tough. Just know, hello, I'm a person and you are a person and we are here for each other. And that little bit of community and connection, when in the absence of weekly Zoom meetings that lots of folks have gotten to have, I think has really helped people feel like they're seen and they're heard and they're acknowledged, and that those connection pieces can happen even if a lot of what we're doing is really autonomous. And it's the same token, as a department chair, one of the things that I have really thought a lot about is like, what tools and resources do I have to give to folks to help them do their job? And then I need to step back and say, I trust you to do your job. I'm here for you as a resource. Whatever I can do to support you, I will do my hardest at that. But I also trust and I believe in you. And I think I'm learning and hoping to implement into the future, even though this is hard for me, that like, perfection can be a roadblock to progress. And I've seen some of my colleagues do amazing things with their classes that they were worried, in spring break last year, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And then the stories that I'm hearing from folks are just incredible. And the amount of progress and innovation that faculty have had in the classroom, just mind-boggling and incredible. And so I think moving forward, give people the tools they need to do their job, trust them, support them, be their cheerleader, and build community for us as faculty and staff together, and then really build that community for students and maintain that balance of that connection and autonomy so that we get the best of both worlds moving forward.
Thank you again for participating today and for sharing your experiences as well as the learning points and hopes for the future in terms of a post-pandemic preferred future for Portland Community College.